Welcome to Question Time. My name is Paul Tsedu. Registrations for 2016 started at several universities today following last year's #Fees Must Fall campaign. Government has promised to avail 1.9 billion, while universities have to cover the rest. Wits University has suspended physical registration due to student protests this morning. Students have been asked to register online or telephonically for the next 2 days. Meanwhile, Higher Education and Training Minister Dr. Nzimande has rejected the Council on Higher Education's recommendation to extend university undergraduate studies by a year. This aimed at addressing the high failure and dropout rates at public schools and universities. We are live, and therefore you can call us on the numbers that will be on your screen. 089 110 4210. This is Question Time. My guest, Professor Tawana Kupe, is the Deputy Vice Chancellor at Wits University, and joining us from Pretoria. Kai Ngwanyana is the spokesperson at the Department of Higher Education and Training. But before we continue with today's show, let's firstly take a look at what Dr. Nzimande had to say.
I wish to congratulate the 2015 matriculants who passed their exams, and especially those who fared well. We have 212,472 new entrant opportunities at universities. We have 133,551 engineering and business studies opportunities at our TVET colleges. We've got 88,794 occupationally directed apprenticeship or learnership opportunities done in collaboration with TVET colleges, SETAs, and employers.
That's Dr. Nzimande today. Now let me welcome you gentlemen to the show. Kaya, welcome as well.
Thank you very much, Empo.
Prof, we had thought, it's the first day, it's all systems go, but alas, suspension.
Yes, compliments of the season. You didn't welcome me like Kaya.
Okay. Okay, welcome, Prof.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I think that we all know that from last year's Fees Must Fall campaign, certain issues remained outstanding. The students are still pushing, obviously, for their stated goal of free higher education for all. So, to a certain extent, one would have expected some kind of protest action to continue. In fact, various analysts, newspapers, and others predicted and predict every day that these protests will continue and that. But there are certain things that need to be clarified if we are talking about this situation, is that a number of things students feared would hamper access this year in relation to registration. For example, registration fee, some people call it upfront fee payment.
Yes. That
is what we call it at Wits, not registration fee. What we have done in Wits, which we decided last year and communicated actually quite extensively, but communication in December, before January happens, doesn't always reach people, is that there will be no upfront fee payment at Wits for 2016. We instead, what we're now asking people to do is to make a first payment of the fees that are due for 2016. Those who can pay should pay, and it's in their best interest to do so because they reduce the amount of fees they have to pay anyway. But those who cannot pay now, is that they simply have to indicate on a form that they can't pay, and that is it. They can freely register. And so that's one clarification we sent out today, because there was quite a lot of confusion about whether it's still due. It has been due in the last years that you would pay upfront fee.
Now, Prof, what if all of them say we cannot pay?
Well, I don't think that is possible, because generally the way people manage their fees, it's like when you have to pay for certain things and you have to, you make the payment that you can. And as I speak right now, there are people who have already been paying their first payment. So that would not be a situation that we will face. And secondly, also, even if you don't pay your first payment, is still due later on, so you're only postponing the day of reckoning, if you like.
Yes, but we're talking about students who are pursuing a movement here, which ideal is actually no payment. And if there's an opportunity not to pay anything and still be on campus, I'm sure they're going to take advantage.
That is a possibility, but I think if you listen to the discourses and to what the students are saying is that they are fighting for this to become national policy.
Okay.
And also you will see that the campaigns will continue in that regard. The other thing that the students were raising, especially in relation to this, was about students who are carrying debt. As you saw, the president clarified, the national president, Jacob Zuma, clarified it or made a statement at the ANC birthday that the state has advanced some billions of rands, a couple of billion of rands, 2.6 billion, to assist those students who were on NEFSAS and who still had debt from 2015. So that's going to be settled as well. That helps people register. What remains is those students who never qualify for NEFSAS. They are called the missing middle. This new term has been coined. They are not poor enough to qualify for NEFSAS. They are not rich enough, in a sense, to pay for themselves or to qualify for certain bank loans. They are still carrying debt as well. That remains a stickler and a problem. At Wits, the amount that we're looking at is over 100 million. About 109 million rand. We are not able to just cancel that debt because it would put the university into financial crisis and imperil the education of all of those students. One of my more interesting things, Paul, which I think we discussed on this program last year again, is that at Wits you have seen over the years, over the last 21 years, university that was previously white skyrocket to a situation where 75% of the students are black, 58% African. We want access and the university to remain financially viable so that these black Africans and other blacks can actually become the new educational elite of South Africa.
All right. Kai, what is the department's plan? How have you prepared to ensure that what has happened at Wits is not happening at all the institutions of higher learning?
Well, firstly, on this coming Thursday, the minister will be meeting all the student leaders just to engage them and also understand their point of view. What could be the issues now in 2016 that might be the causal effects of any protest? Because from where we are sitting as a government is that the issues that arose last year from the fees must fall have been attended to. We have announced that 2.3 billion has been made available to universities to address the shortfall that arose as a consequence of the decision by government to accede to student demands of no fee increase. Secondly, we have gone further when the president appointed a task team that we are addressing now the issue of the historic debt students who have been owing universities from 2013, 2014, 2015, about over 71,000, which has totaled to more than 4.5 billion. Now, those students are now going to continue to finish their academic progress until they finish, which they were not going to because institutions were going to insist on paying them. So we think that all of those issues constitute a positive government response to the issues that were raised last year in relation to what might be a new issue of fee-free education or free education as it will be called. We have always clarified that issue that it's a government position. The non-implementation has been because of the absence of money in the national fiscus to implement it. So that's why the president is going to announce a commission that will look at ways and means of raising resources, money to the fiscus outside of what we have so that we can start to implement elements of the fee-free education for the poor.
Do you really think that students are going to classes?
Well, they should. That's our commitment as a government, and also that's a commitment with universities. We have been engaging since last year, and even December, we have been ensuring that we put all the plans in place. You see, we are saying that students have a right to protest if they think they must protest, but that right goes with the responsibility not to interrupt the academic program. It goes with the responsibility not to intimidate those who want to study.
Yeah.
What we're going to ensure now as part of plan is that those who want to protest, they must protest at a particular area. Those who want to continue and study, they must be allowed to study. That's why law enforcement agencies are going to play their role to ensure that we protect universities, we protect the student, we protect the staff, we protect our academics, so that the academic process continues. Those who want to go and strike, they must go and strike somewhere and protest somewhere without interfering with the academic process. That's what we're going to insist on.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll be taking your calls. The number to dial is 089-110-4210. Our Twitter handle @QuestionTime24. What do you think? Universities are supposed to open, and it would appear that there are already challenges, as you may have heard, that at Wits registration was disrupted. If you're a student or a parent or any other stakeholder, would really like to hear from you. This is Question Time.
Makamelo Sekhuntse, one strong woman who said no to hunger. She never allowed circumstances to pull her down. At daybreak, she is up and running in the streets of Johannesburg to make her living. After 12 hours of hard work, she goes back home being able to put food on the table. Join me, Bulemo Lebatsi, on your show about those who take on and conquer life challenges every Saturday at 5:30.
You're still watching Question Time. My guest today, Professor Tawana Kupe, who is the Deputy Vice Chancellor at Wits University, and from our Pretoria studios, Kai Nkwanyan is the spokesperson at the Department of Higher Education and Training. Pabla, you are in the Free State. Welcome.
Thanks, Ndate Mpo.
You're welcome, Daddy.
Yes, Ndate Mpo. Professor raised an issue of students who are academically deserving.
Yes.
And those who cannot afford to pay the fees.
Yes.
But there are those who cannot afford to pay the fees, but they cannot make it they cannot reach the standard or the level set for NSFAS qualification,
yes.
to qualify for NSFAS.
Yeah.
What would happen? I want to direct my question to Ndate Nkwanyan.
Okay.
He must actually tell us what is going to happen to those students, because I believe they have obtained what we used to call exemption.
No, they are called the missing middle, apparently.
Yes. So
Yeah.
they have obtained it. I mean, their matriculation qualification, their certificates, they qualify to be admitted at universities, yet they do not qualify for NSFAS, and they can also afford to pay their fees. What is going to happen to those students?
All right. Kai?
Well, it's a matter that we as government are looking into, the missing middle.
Yes.
The NSFAS team, together with the officials in the department, are engaging on a process to look at a different stream of funding for higher education. And the instruction is that this year that has to be concluded, so that next year the implementation 2017 should be in place. We are engaging, including even commercial banks, to say that what is it that they can come up with, some form of government-private partnership,
Yeah.
public-private partnership, so that we can able to assist those students, because it's a reality. You might be earning so much in terms of the brackets, in terms of the determination you are seen as a middle class, but you are having so many financial commitments such that you can't able to send your child in a university, and we can't allow them to default the system and therefore sit at home. So there's a technical team that is dealing with that.
Okay.
And in due course this year, the minister will make an announcement in terms of a new stream of funding in relation to that.
Okay, Khotso, you're also in the Free State in Bethlehem, actually.
Yes, Mpho, good evening.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Mpho, I'm the leader of Cook Student Movement, and I want to voice out that what the spokesperson there is talking about is very irregular. You have students that are not academically deserving. You have students that they cannot even afford to pay the university fees. So what I'm saying is the government must stop whatever that they are doing now, make sure that the money is...
Whoa. Make sure that the money... Then you got cut off there, Khotso, unfortunately. But Prof, let me just find out from you. 2.3 billion is being set aside by government. Is this going to be enough? And if it is not enough, where are you going to get the shortfall?
Remember, as the spokesperson clearly articulated, that was to settle some historical debt.
Yes.
So there was a calculation around that. What we're talking about, which is the problem now, is the missing miggles on debt arising from 2015, which will prevent them from being registered now. I think the state has come in handily and done the right thing in putting aside money for historical debt for those specific years and for the 2015 years, if I understood the president well.
Okay. So are you saying, Prof, that there is no student who is going to be barred from registering, whether it be first year, second year, master's or PhD,
no,
whatever?
The missing middle still has a problem, because if you are part of the missing middle and you are carrying debt from 2015, you have a real problem. As I said at Wits, the missing middle, as we see it right now, owes 109 million. And that will bar them from being able to register this year. The university could simply say, we cancel that debt, but that is not possible, because that 109 million is needed for ongoing operations and the education of the 30,000 students that are going to be registered at Wits this year. When it comes to master's, PhD and honors, there are other schemes. Universities often put aside some other money for postgraduate merit awards, and even the NRF also does that as well. Even from the department, they say there's some people doing PhDs who fall under what is called the NCAP program, next generation of academics. So, and also we have some sponsors and other bursaries and scholarships. Even professors raise money for postgraduate students. It's still not enough given the challenge that in South Africa. We need to, as the NDP says, we need to increase the number of people doing PhDs so that they reach a certain level by 2030 in order to take our country forward.
Pilani, you're in Cape Town.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, thanks for the call.
I'm fine. You know, in South Africa we have a problem.
Yes.
Our problem is one. You see, government doesn't screen well this system. You find the children, the mother is a teacher, but is benefiting to NFS.
Yes.
Or a mother is a principal, comes to the school. And those children have a way of beating up that system. The poor of the poorest are the one who's becoming a victim of this. Because government doesn't do follow-ups, home visit, look, where is this child? What this child is saying is the reality or not.
Yes.
You see, that is a major problem. For example, the issue of SAFA. People are earning a grant. Some of the people, they don't earn much matter how much of the money they say that they earn to SAFA. And SAFA is, government is spending money to the people who are earning more than that 3,000 rand. People who are earning 6,000 and things. That money can be saved to those and used to those children who are poor. You see, for example, if you go for CPUT, the majority of the students who come from CPUT, the father is police officers, the father is teacher, his father is an officer of social work. Government must come with something like a scale. Where if you're earning 10,000 rand, you're going to pay, let's say, 20,000 rand. If you earn 5,000 rand, you're going to pay 10,000 rand. If you pay 50,000, you get paid 50,000 rand, you get paid 30,000 rand. People must pay the fees based on the salaries that they earn. I think that
affordability, that is. Okay, thanks very much, Pilani there. We'll take that to Kai just now. But firstly, let me just take a look at what our tweets are saying. Providence Chihamure says, it's time for everyone to know that free things are not free at all. Nothing for free in this world. Okay. Tabide Makwanyani says, no academic program or if 1 trillion rand can be found for nuclear deal. Hashtag free education will happen. Okay. And Tabile Mokonyane, okay. Entlek, hashtag free education in 2016. If this can't be met, fees must fall, protests all year round. Whoa. Okay. That's something that I'm not so sure if, Prof, you would really encourage, eh?
Well, you see, I think that we must strike a balance between the two things. You need to ensure that there's affordable, high-quality education, and there's free education for those who really cannot pay. I think we must be able to enable that. Okay. On the other hand, we must ensure that there's continuous education, because any time lost for educating our people is not time lost for those individuals only. It's time lost for families who invest in these things. Okay. It's time lost for developing our country. It's time lost for developing our continent. It's time lost for competing with everybody in the globe.
Okay, hold it there.
The two things the struggles can be prosecuted together, but we must not undercut our own feet.
Deboho, you are in Kempton Park.
Greetings to everyone.
Thank you very much.
My question is mainly addressed to the Department of Higher Education.
Yes.
We know that there's a number of graduates that are produced by different universities and so forth. Mm-hmm. My question to Kaya is that how fertile is the environment for all these graduates? Is the Department of Higher Education communicating, integrating with other guys to ensure that these people, when they graduate, they get jobs, the soil is fertile that they can start their own businesses? Do they communicate as government? Thank you.
Thank you. Kaya, are you producing what the market requires?
Well, that's one area that we are doing a lot of work. In 2014, we produced what was called 100 scarce skills in this country. We gazetted that, and we are now doing a lot of work, even at a level of high schools. We have a career development service to redirect young people to the scarce skills area, because you have a disjuncture in South Africa where you have a number of graduates or a number of students who are in universities, but when you check exactly the kind of programs that they are doing, it's those programs that are overflooded in the market. In other words, they are graduating to join the queue of the unemployed graduate, because those areas are oversubscribed. Now, we have a lot of areas that, especially more that are offered in our TVET college, your mid-level vocational skills, your engineering, and so on and so forth. We have scarce skills there, artisans, and so on. We are preaching that gospel now, that our youngsters must not even look at TVET colleges as junior cousin to universities. That's where your skills area, your skills shortages are to be found that are required by this economy. Okay. And that's what we are emphasizing on. Unfortunately, we still have an overflood to those oversubscribed skills area.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Prof, well, things are happening now. Some students are not back yet, and you may have students, I mean, one may still be at home in Marondera in Zimbabwe. They don't know what is happening at Wits. What would be your message?
Yeah. We have this afternoon sent a communication to all our students, including prospective new students, to parents and all of those, to clarify all of those things that were not understood. In our message, we have also included the following, that the right to protest belongs to everybody and is constitutionally protected. But that right does not extend to disrupting others and preventing them from learning where you yourself are learning. So we're sending out those messages saying the doors of learning are open. If there are difficulties, let's come and deal with those challenges together while learning is happening, because it is vitally important for the individual and vitally important for our society and for our country.
Thank you very much, Prof. That was question time for today. A big thank you to my guests and to you for watching the show. From me and the crew, you have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.